Welcome everyone. My name is Jordan Farmer. This is the Uncommon Ground YouTube channel where we are indoctrinating the masses, and today I'm going to be talking about inflation and the damage that inflation does and the solution to inflation that can be implemented very easily in order to protect wages and salaries from the effects of inflation. So first off, what is inflation? It's very simply that the number of dollars or the amount or supply of currency, it's when that expands relative to the demand for that currency, which is the underlying economic activity. Part of the reason why the 1970s had such high inflation rates was because our trade deals opened up and the production or the underlying value in the economy was exported. So that value was stripped away, but we kept printing money, and so we had major stagflation. The damages of inflation can vary depending on where the inflation goes. The inflation in our system goes to bank vaults to be lended out by banks for interest rates that the Federal Reserve can control, and that's where the money goes, to ensure that there's always a supply of debt and credit out there in the system, mainly, in my opinion, for mergers and acquisitions for the big boys in every single industry. It allows them to inexpensively take on debt, buy up their competitors, consolidate the industry, and it is part of the reason why we have the land of giants economy now, whereas we used to have the land of small businesses economy before, which meant a lot more people within the system were capitalists or owners of the means of production, whereas now most people are laborers. And in these places where the lockdowns are taking place and small businesses are being shut down, that Hunger Games economy, like David Icke used that term, that's where I first heard it. They are creating the Hunger Games society or economy where the top operate, you have three options for everything, and we're all laborers, and very, very few people own the means of production, and that's why we have this disparate wealth. Anyways, so the damage could be fixed if we had all of the inflation going to people. If you just had the inflation, say it's like $10 billion, cut checks for everyone, send it out to them, and that's how we make sure that inflation doesn't affect different people, or doesn't affect various people differently. However, even if you did that, you're still creating inflation and you're not fixing the issue that I'm about to address. The other effects of inflation, the most important ones, are that they dilute the value of the savings in your bank account relative to the value of the economy. They dilute your wages and salaries and money sitting in the bank, well, savings, I already said that, relative to the value of the economy, which means that you can purchase less and you're poorer as a result. The way we fix this is by making it so that when we have legal contracts governing labor and labor compensation, they are calculated in value, not in numerical wages. So instead of being $15 an hour that I'm getting paid in this particular job when I sign up for working at McDonald's or wherever, but I'm going to get $15 an hour in 2020 money in perpetuity as long as I'm at that job, which means every year, if we hit the built-in target inflation rate of 2%, every year that I work in perpetuity at that place, my wage and salary has to go up 2%. So $15 an hour goes up 2%. That's $15.30. After 5 years, you're up to $16.50. Now, again, it seems like you're getting raises, but in reality, you're just not losing out on the diluted wage value that the inflation causes. But it still feels good, and counting on and being able to guarantee on all wages and salaries a 2% increase in your wage and in your salaries, that will keep people wealthier longer. It'll help combat the effects of inflation. And that's it. That's really the only fix that we have to take. And what that will do is that will make sure that all of the money in the economy going to labor is not diluted, and then it is corrected for, auto-corrected. And you could do that either quarterly or annually. I would do quarterly, but it doesn't really matter. And I would have the Federal Reserve's calculation of inflation be the official marker for how all this operates, so that once they put out their number every quarter or every year, that goes out into the market, and then people have to then make those adjustments with their wages and their laborers and payrolls and all compensation of labor in any form. And that's it. All right. Well, I hope this made sense to you. I hope we can get this implemented, because unfortunately, because of how many dollars have been printed, we might be looking at hyperinflation down the road. And if we're seeing hyperinflation down the road, that was the precursor to Hitler. It was the precursor to totalitarianism. When the existing system fails, people look for revolution. So we got to make sure that the current system does not fail, and that we fix it so that it works for everybody equally and fairly. Have a good day. Peace.